Alright, here's the final video for chapter number 2, covering what's arguably the most important section of this entire book, actually. Knowing the different elements of the marketing mix. The marketing mix is also referred to as the 4 P's of marketing. They're one and the same. And what the 4 P's include, you have product, you have place, which is also known as distribution. Place is the physical location. Distribution is getting your products to the customer. Promotion and pricing. Now, going through these one at a time, what you need to understand is that the marketing manager, they can control each component of the marketing mix, but the strategies for all 4 components must be blended to achieve the best results. It's a blending of these 4 different components into one. Product is a starting point for the marketing mix because it's tough to decide on pricing or promotion campaigns or anything like that before the product is actually created or strategies are defined. The product is not only the physical unit itself, but product includes things such as the packaging that it comes in, warranties that go with your products, any kind of service after you buy it, brand name, company image, any of those kind of things are all included with the product. Products can be tangible goods or they can be intangible services, right? They can be ideas, but that's a little bit harder to define. But the main thing with products are tangible goods, things you can see and feel, intangible services, which you can see the results of, but you cannot physically grasp those. Place, which is also known as distribution, and the goal of this element is to ensure that products arrive in usable condition at the right place at the right time. And the right time is just whenever customers need or want them. All activities from raw materials to finished products, the second bullet there, it takes place from getting the raw materials of the products to the place, the warehouse or the factories, getting them from the factories to the distributors to the stores, and all the way down through that channel of distribution. Well, actually, let me just say, along with this also with the place, before we move on, the physical condition and location of the store is important. The layout of the store is important. There's a lot that goes into this that you need to be aware of and take into consideration. Promotion. This includes, if you look on the right-hand side, advertising, public relations, sales promotions, and personal selling. Each element of promotion, or the promotional mix, is coordinated with the others to make the best blend for promotion as you possibly can. Excuse me. Advertising is just how you're going to be communicating. Public relations, also called PR, is keeping a good image with the public and society. Sales promotion is incentive to buy or try your product. This could be coupons, sales, markdowns, free samples, contests, lots of different things that you can do there. And then personal selling is just one person trying to sell a product to another person using sales tactics, different types of incentives potentially as well. So personal selling is something that some people are very, very good at, and others it's just not meant to be for them. Lastly is price. This is what you as a consumer must give up in order to get your product. Right, this is the one that is definitely the most flexible of all of the 4 P's. It's easiest to change, it's quickest to change. There's not a whole lot that goes into that. Price multiplied by however many units are sold gives the firm their total revenue. Price times the total number of units sold gives the company their total revenue. And that's price is also, as you can see there, the third bullet down, competitive weapon. This is one thing with it being so easy to change and to alter, and if you're able to do it very quickly, can give you a little bit of an advantage over other companies, over your competition, and this is a very important factor or quality to some customers and consumers in the market today. Then we move on to implementation, evaluation, and control. Implementation is the process that turns marketing plans into action. When you implement something, you're taking the idea or the theory and putting it into action. Some activities that could potentially happen in the implementation section include assigning jobs, describing different activities that have to go on, providing budgets and timelines. Lines of communication is also important. How are you going to communicate with each other? What's the best way for communication? And put those into place as well. The way the book refers to implementation is essentially doing what you said you were going to do. It's following through with what you said you're going to do. However, many organizations repeatedly experience failures in the implementation and the strategy in the implementation as well. Okay, it's easier said than done, in other words. Evaluation and control. Once things are put into place and things are put into action, how are you going to be able to evaluate whether or not it's successful? Who's going to be able to control the evaluation process? Who's going to be in control of how things operate and run with all of this as well? Marketing audit also is just to make sure things are going right, things are handled right, things are done properly. And that's something that can be done as well to make sure everything is in place. Once the audit is done, there are 3 main tasks that need to be accomplished yet. Number 1 is to make recommendations, find out where there were some shortcomings. You'll know your strengths and what you did well, but you also need to know about your weaknesses and any opportunities that are out there and be able to act upon those. Ensure that the role of the audit has been clearly communicated. This goes back to going with the implementation with timelines and also the communication. Make sure everybody who needs to know the results, and make someone accountable for implementing the recommendations. So once everything is done and you can make potential recommendations for the future and moving on, who is going to be responsible for that? Who's going to take responsibility for that to make sure that those new plans get implemented? It's not a one and done deal. You got to make sure that you are continually changing and improving upon your marketing plan, your products, your marketing mix in general. All right, lastly, strategic planning is not something that you just do once a year and you're done with it. As I mentioned, it's an ongoing process. It's something that needs to be continually brought up and brought to people's attention. Because your external and even sometimes your internal environment is continually changing, but mainly the external environment is continually changing. And the firm's internal resources and your capabilities are evolving and getting better and more up to date. You have to make adjustments based upon those changes, both internal and external. Strategic planning is really based upon creativity. Assumptions about the firm and the environment should always be challenged and pushed, and new strategies have to be established so that you can keep whatever kind of competitive advantage you might have. And lastly, the support of management and their participation is a vital component to having successful strategic planning. It's very, very important. Lastly is the Nederlander organization video here. I would recommend that you open up the PowerPoint file in D2L, click on the link, watch the video. It's good. Now lastly, just a reminder, please make sure that you are doing the online portion of the test by Monday night at 11:30. It needs to be completed by 11:30 p.m. I will be in my room Monday morning. If anybody is interested, starting at 7:30, you're more than welcome to come in and ask any questions, or even just have a quiet place to study. All right, have a good weekend. Go Broncos.